What's the company that's kind of that sticks out in your mind as the sore thumb when it comes to emissions and reporting? And on the flip side, what company in the Houston area is ideal to work with and is transparent about what comes out of their facility? Can you talk about the two,
Um,
or is
I
that
think see
classified? Is that
that's the thing.
classified?
I'm not sure if I can like name, but okay, let's do it this way. I'll say it and then I'll check with like my org to see if that's fine, and then I'll
Okay,
let you know if you can keep it in or not. Is that cool?
that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
we'll
Okay.
take it out if you tell us to.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is uh I'd say my answer is based on like data itself, so like data from emissions inventories, but also like data from like insight from residents themselves and like how who they feel living in the neighborhood are some of the worst actors. So in terms of just raw emissions data, I would say Exxon Baytown is definitely the highest in terms of just raw pollution there, and it's understandable. Their campus is huge. They probably take up 50% of the city, the part of the city that's Baytown. Um, they're definitely the one of the highest emitters in the Houston area. Um, Other names that stick out include uh, like Shell on the ship channel, Valero, Lyondell Basell, Pasadena Refining, which is now owned by Chevron, I believe. And these are names that commonly come up in terms of the amount of permits they apply for. In terms of just resident insight and who we've, I guess, heard the most complaints from, it's definitely Lyondell Basell, located, I want to say in the northern. The name of their refinery is called Houston Refinery, but it's owned by Lyondell Basell,
Mm.
and it's kind of in the east end, sort of northeast Pasadena region. They're one of the just the worst when it comes to, like we talked about, self-reporting. We had an incident last year in Galena Park where just what I described as happened. Residents started feeling all these symptoms, and they tried to find out, and it was like days after when Lyondell Basell finally came forward and said it was us who, we had this spill. We they there was no remorse. They just didn't feel the need to tell residents about it. So that's one of the routine violators. And then the second one that comes to mind is Pasadena Refining, which is owned by Chevron now. They're another one that just repeated offenses, repeated violations of the permit, um, repeated, I guess, emissions events, things like that. Um, Other usual complaints come from uh, TPC. I don't know if y'all have heard about that, but
Mm.
they had an explosion in their one of their plants, and then a short time period after, they just applied for a permit to expand that same plant. Um, and yeah, that's some of the things that happens, and residents try to fight back, but it's usually the TCEQ just kind of rubber stamps it, and it's like, this is approved. So TPC, and then one of the last ones, and this is something, this is a permit that we're actually in the process of opposing right now, but ITC, Deer Park, which was responsible for the 2019 fire, the big
Yep.
plume across Houston. Yeah, so apparently they're also applying for a new permit as well. So those are the ones that I would say we've received the most complaints from.